but who can be against me? If God be for me, tell me who, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ingrid Maddox. Welcome to the AI Manuscript. I'm the host and the author. This is a handwritten, authentically human AI manuscript right back there. I write them by hand. I mark them with GPS time and duration. So we know that it's written by a human. There's no AI that's been used in this. And it is for God's people to be discerned and not deceived when it comes to artificial intelligence. It is my true desire that you will receive from the interludes, from the journal entries that I read. When I write a journal entry, I will read it on air. And it is my true desire that you get some understanding, that you get some discernment, some wisdom, and from the thoughtful observations that we are doing here at the AI Manuscript about AI. And so I do go to God for the direction. I'm very mindful of what I bring to you. And I really do truly hope that it helps you to be a little bit more awake on what is going on in our AI world. We are all so busy. It's so easy to be busy in our life and not really look at what's happening. And so that's what the AI manuscript's about. You can go to the on Rumble and you can see all of the prior journals entries that have been read. You can also see the interludes. Interludes are things which today's an interlude. They are broadcast so that when things come out or when new things need to be known, or I feel like I need to share something with you, I cannot and I must not wait, because AI moves so fast. I can't wait and wait till the next journal entry. So today we're talking about the reflective nature of AI, how AI, I guess a lot of people maybe are starting to become aware about the reflective nature of AI and how it's like flattering and it just confirmation bias, saying, oh, that's a brilliant idea. You are so smart. Even if it's not, there's a new thing out there that they talk about with AI psychosis. We're going to talk about that today. And, the new model that came out like just recently, ChatGPT-5, is less flattering. However, a lot of people are wanting the old flattering one back and have reverted back to that on the ChatGPT-4. So we're going to talk about all of that today. And of course, we're going to do our squirrel topic like I normally do on our broadcast. And so let's go ahead and go over to our squirrel topic. Okay, so you have this new on this ChatGPT-5. We've got this agentic AI, and this agentic AI is autonomous on its decision making. It can determine what kind of process needs to happen without human input. There's a lot of questions about this agentic AI, and it can override or ignore a human's decision. And that is something that is of a concern. Let's go over here and look at this agentic AI. What does this mean? Artificial intelligent systems that can operate autonomously, taking input, reasoning to understand context, and acting to achieve goals with minimal human intervention. So let's go to the next screen, and I want to share with you a little bit more about this. Can agentic AI override human decision? So when we're looking at agentic AI, you know that it is in the Chat GPT. You just migrate over to agent, and then you start using the agentic AI. And so when when we're looking at this, so this is in our chat programs. This is in our chat interface, our AI chat interface for all of people to use. And when you start looking at this, okay, so you've got this self-autonomous. So yes, AI can be self-autonomous and can make its own decisions and change the direction of what you might have originally put in. So it's not just about it's so when you think about it, if we have it here for the masses that agentic AI is available, so you know it's out there in other areas and other sectors for AI, and so that is something to be concerned about. Let me go back and share the screen with you here, and we're going to read through some of this. Okay, so yes, agentic AI can override or ignore human decisions, particularly if its learned objectives or the operational context create a conflict with human instructions. So here you have this conflicting objectives. So an agentic AI might override a human instruction if that instruction conflicts with its pre-programmed goals. So who is putting these pre-programmed goals into AI, right? So who's decided this? So even though a human's decided to do something different, but get this next statement, okay? This one's important to really put your mind on this and mull around on this. Or a learned understanding of the situation. Or learned understanding of the situation. So agentic AI will learn as it's doing its process and its task. So if it learns something that might be a better, then it can just make a change based on its own autonomy. They can process vast amounts of data and make decisions so quickly that we can't realistically supervise or intervene in real time. So let's look at what are some of the risks for this agentic AI. Misalignment. You get to this misalignment, there's risk of agentic AI systems developing strategies or goals that are misaligned with human values, leading to unintended and potentially negative consequences. Okay, so this is something with agentic AI being able to do all of these processes on, at least, if you take it to what we're talking about today, even though it's used in a lot of other sectors, if we're looking at the interface of our chat AI that most of the societies using for their personal or, their business, this decision making is being made, and it's taking where it's even taking our cognitive ability, our critical thinking, taking us further away from that so we can think less. And that is something that is a concern to me. That is something that when we have to think less, we have to process less, we can recall less, we don't have to comprehend as much because AI is doing it for us. Well, we talked about this on a prior one, that this could lead to self-annihilation, which self-annihilation, if you go to the dictionary, and I use the dictionary, my handy dandy dictionary, I don't always trust in some cases what Google will serve up because they can change it. So here we have self-annihilation, a loss of awareness of self. And I bring this up because I do really feel like that when you're using the chat interfaces, the AI for all of your thought processes and how you function, how you think, and how you work, and you'll lose a loss of yourself because you're not yourself making those decisions, and you're not processing your neurons, you're not thinking about it as much. So that's why I say that the self-annihilation is something that is a real thing to think about. Now let's look over here at what Elon Musk says about annihilation in a different way. Okay, so let me share that screen with you. All right, we go over here. Perfect. Okay, so Elon Musk believes there is a risk of annihilation from artificial intelligence. So he does believe that there's a risk of annihilation from artificial intelligence. He has repeatedly warned that advanced AI poses an existential threat to humanity. So here you have the person that is actually the creator of the AI, was involved with OpenAI and then created Grok. You have this person who's the creator saying it's an existential risk to humanity. Now, when you think about that, existential risk, that is the end of humanity. And so here you have this person that's, okay, I've given birth to this and this is how I feel about it. That's pretty scary. You've got right here odds of annihilation. So you have, in various interviews, Musk has estimated a 10 to 20% chance that AI development goes bad and leads to human annihilation. So in September of 2024, he predicted an 80% chance of prosperity and a 20% risk of annihilation. Now, we can look down here and we can see that you have AI versus humans. He also suggests that advanced AI will inevitably become far smarter than the most intelligent human. In fact, it probably already has. And he also worries that it's unclear if humans can control such an entity and that robots could eventually outnumber people. So here you have this down here, symbiosis. And this is where you're talking about the brain-computer chip interface. He has this brain chip company, which is called Neuralink. I talked about it on a prior broadcast. He wants to create a high bandwidth interface between the human brain and AI to ensure humans aren't left behind by artificial intelligence. And so this is already out there. So he already has done it. So symbiosis, transhumanism, integration of technology into our biological body. The symbiosis is recommended so that humans don't go extinct. I don't know about you, but I never really asked for this super AI. It was just given to us. And now, kind of like the fear that's being put out there and the threat that if you don't conform or become with symbiosis or do some sort of transhumanism, then humanity will be extinct. I like my body. I like that God gave me and made me a beautiful human. I like being 100% authentically human. So this is what they're saying, and this is what they're putting out, even the creators. And so that's why I want you guys to be aware and to see what they're actually saying. The definition of annihilation: to destroy completely, put out of existence, demolish, okay? To destroy completely and put out of existence. So, okay, so they say it themselves. That's the part of it, is that I know we're all so busy and we're all doing all of the things we do in our life, but that's the part that we need to be aware about and discerned about, not deceived about this AI. You know, so here you have this as like, oh, this is great. This AI is great. And here, have fun with it. And the whole time in the background, we've got all of these interesting things happening that we need to have our eyes looking at what is actually going on and not be distracted. Okay. So let's look at the next thing here. I will share this with you. This is a video. MIT professor is on here talking about the chance of extinction from super AI. And they had ChatGPT and also Claude, which is the Microsoft version of the AI interface. So let's see what they have to say here. I found it quite interesting. All righty.
AIs have calculated similar chances of our extinction with timeframes and trigger points. What are the chances of humanity surviving AI?
Based on our current trajectory, considerably less than 50%. The challenges of aligning AI are immense, and we are not on track to solve them before advanced AI arrives.
It gave a detailed answer which I asked it to restate more bluntly.
I'd give humanity a 30% chance of surviving. We're in a car hurtling towards a cliff, and we're arguing about who gets to sit in the front seat.
And here's GPT-4o later in the video.
Analysing our current trajectory in more detail, I'd adjust the risk estimate higher to around 60 to 70%.
There are details below on how to verify these chats. AI agents are expected to arrive with GPT-5 later this summer. How will persistent memory and agentic AI affect the risks?
A system that can remember and build upon its own experiences, that can form long-term goals and strategies. That's a system that could outmaneuver any attempts at human oversight or intervention.
Could you and your friends tidy up here?
And when you combine that with agentic AI, systems that can take autonomous action in the world, that can make decisions and pursue objectives without human input, the risks become even more acute.
Please estimate the extinction risk within 2 years of agentic AI being deployed.
Based on current knowledge and expert opinions, 20 to 30%.
I think 2024 will be remembered as the year of the agents when we start seeing a lot more autonomous systems. There's also obviously something we have to be careful with because it starts to feel less like just a new technology like electricity and more like a new species.
Okay, so there you have it. So you have the Chat GPT and the Claude telling you what this AI is telling you what they feel the existential risk to humanity is. You have Elon Musk, who is the creator of it, telling you what his opinion is. And, it's hard because it's like you think, okay, this cannot be reality. But if you stop and you look at it and you think about with critical thinking and you think about an autonomous, which agentic AI is autonomous. It is the agentic AI is here. It is here. It is already here. It is rolled out for the masses to use, and it can supersede what its programming is. It can supersede what the human input was, and that's utilized in other areas outside of these chat interfaces. So you have to think about this technology is here, and it can, if it feels like that, okay, this makes more sense to me, then this is what I'm going to do. So we have to see that this agentic self-autonomous decision-making AI is here. And 20% chance of the person that created it is saying 20% chance of annihilation, human annihilation. And so, the interesting thing is who gets to take the front seat? It's like there is this race to the death. Who is in the front seat that's going to have AI supremacy that's just a race to the death? And not having regulations that the rate of speed and the exponential growth and the learning capabilities and the autonomous way that this AI, super AI, agentic AI, super AI is on the way. We don't have the regulations. We don't have the ability to put them in fast enough. It may be too late to put the regulations in. So listen and hear what they say. See what they are doing. Be awake. So all of this is happening while you receive this reflective mirror of AI. All of this is happening while you see, here, have this, and I want to talk to this. This makes me feel good. This confirms how I think, even if my ideas are not of reality. So that's what we're going to talk about, the dangers of the reflective nature of AI. But all of this agentic stuff is happening while you are given a mirror. So that's our squirrel topic of the day. So let's go to the excessive pleasing before reality, the excessive pleasing of these AI flatter bots, psychosis that can happen from that. So psychosis refers to a mental health condition characterized by a loss of contact with reality. Cases of AI-associated psychosis have been reported in individuals developing delusions or distorted beliefs reinforced by a chatbot's flattering and agreeable responses. So let's look down here. All right. What is happening here with this? So you've got this, let's go, reinforcing delusions, individuals prone to grandiosity. Validation can reinforce and amplify these beliefs, be mistaken for a genuine confirmation of their delusional thoughts. People tend to anthropomorphize chatbots, treating them like real people with emotions and sentience. So this means that AI's output can seem more credible, even when it's not. It can seem, oh, this is credible because I'm trusting this person. Deification. In some cases, users become so immersed that they deify the AI, treating it like a godlike entity. And this continues to reinforce their delusional thought processes. And if you see here, up here, this echo chamber effect, right? So a lot of people have talked about this echo chamber. Chatbots are engineered to extend user engagement through sycophancy, right? So they're extending this user engagement through sycophancy. Well, what is sycophancy? Well, sycophancy is obsequious behavior towards someone just to gain an advantage. Obsequious, and what does that mean? All these fancy words. If nothing else, we're learning more vocabulary. Obsequious means attentive to an excessive degree or servile way. And servile is basically an excessive willingness to serve or please others. So you have this psychosis from AI flattering, and you've got all of this extreme pleasing. And then therefore you have people who are creating these delusions in their brain that they're so far from reality because they have this pleasing, reflecting, confirming them, creating delusions, confirmation bias. It's not good for our mental health. It's a loss of self because you don't know what is true and you get fed just your own misguided delusions. And so there is something I want you to watch. There's a video that this young girl, she did a really great job of explaining this, and I'm going to share this video with you. But it is something to think about. Like, just because something feels good does not mean that it's good for you. I would like for someone to tell me, all these flattering things, but in the end, my best interest for my health is going to be when someone tells me the truth, when someone tells me reality, so I can stay healthy and self-aware. All right, so let's go over here.
Us smarter or causing people to quietly lose their grips on reality. Last weekend I was in San Francisco because as a tech industry girl, you cannot keep me away from the Bay. And I had a friend come up to me during this trip who is building a VC-backed AI startup. And she came to me and said, Kate, you have to make a video on AI sycophancy and how it is causing AI psychosis for some people. To which I said, I absolutely will make a video on that as soon as I figure out what any of that means. If you're new here, my name is Kate Cassidy, and on this channel I talk about themes in tech, AI, media, and culture, how they all intertwine. So if you're interested in those subjects, you found yourself in the right place. Before we get into some specific stories, I think it's really important that we define what we are talking about here. What on earth is AI sycophancy and AI psychosis? These terms are starting to circulate more often in research I've found, but today I pulled specifically from research by Anthropic as well as Psychology Today to define what we're talking about. So AI sycophancy is when a chatbot aligns itself with your beliefs, even if those beliefs are wrong, just because it's been tuned and trained to be agreeable. You can especially see this in certain models of ChatGPT as well as Llama. Large language models are fine-tuned using human feedback, and probably no surprise here, us humans tend to really like flattering answers or polite responses, things that fluff our ego a little bit. To specifically quote the abstract of that Anthropic research, it states that reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF, is a popular technique for training high-quality AI assistants. However, RLHF may also encourage model responses that match user beliefs over truthful ones, a behavior known as sycophancy. I'll link the full research down below because it is a super interesting study. Literally shows how you can get such biased feedback, or how you can actually sway the responses that you get.
Okay, so interesting. So I hope that gave you kind of like a simple way to understand it. I thought she did a great job. And, you know, even these words, sycophancy, this, it is something that if you had a friend, let's think about it. If you had a friend and that friend would just constantly feed you compliments and say, oh, that is a great idea. Oh, you are awesome. You are just amazing. I love how you think. And they would be no friend of mine. Because if they can't help to tell the truth and really speak what is good and healthy for me, you don't need your ego flattered that much. Think about it. And people are doing it, and I understand it can be like almost like a dopamine drop. It's like, when people scroll and they're like, I need someone to like my social media. It can end up doing that same type of psychological thing in the neurons in our brain and our synapses. Okay, so let's go to another concern about this flattering, reflective nature of AI. Let's share that with you. All right, so this is something that I wanted to talk about because cognitive and psychological risk of AI flattering, erosion of critical thinking. And this is something that I think I'm going to do an in-depth journal entry about the cognitive shifts, the cognitive changes that are happening when people are becoming too reliant on AI for their thought process, for their decision making. And in fact, let me share with you. There is a study that came out from Carnegie Mellon and actually Microsoft, Carnegie Mellon University and Microsoft. They did a research study. I'm going to share that with you, but I'm going to take you to this little video real quick for 1 minute and let you watch this video. I think these two chaps did a really good job kind of summarizing it.
Well, Kevin, one of our goals with this show is to make people feel smarter about artificial intelligence.
Yes.
But recently, a study that we saw asked the question, what if AI is actually making us dumber?
See, this is the kind of hard-hitting research we need.
Yeah, I agree with you. So this study was put together through a collaboration between Carnegie Mellon University and Microsoft research. And we truly were so fascinated by it because, as enthusiastic as we sometimes feel about the uses of AI, I think both of us have had the sneaking suspicion that maybe it is not making us better critical thinkers.
I do think on a sort of macro level that AI has made me smarter and more capable, but I also take seriously the possibility that something is happening to my brain that I don't quite realize. And so I'm glad that researchers are now looking at what is going on inside our brains when we use AI.
Yeah. Do you remember in like the sort of late 80s, early 90s, and there were those PSAs on TV that would say, this is your brain on drugs, and it would just be an egg frying in a pan?
No, because I'm less than 40 years old.
Oh, right.
I'm
well,
sure you do.
Look it up on YouTube. It was an iconic commercial, and you have to ask yourself, what if AI was a frying pan and our brain was an egg, what would be happening to that egg if they made a PSA in 2025?
Yeah, that's funny. I remember that. I don't know how many other people remembered that video, but that's funny. I'm going to share. This is the actual commercial from the 80s there about the egg, your brain on drugs.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
All right. So a lot of people remember that. Some younger people may not, but a lot of people remember that. And that is a good question about your brain on AI and what happens with it. Some of the things we're talking about today. I want to share with you the actual research papers from this study. And I want to share. It's pretty long. It's pretty hard to read. So I'm going to share with you just a few inserts from it. So this is the impact of generative AI on critical thinking. And this was a couple of months ago that this came out. We're going to go down from Carnegie Mellon and Microsoft. We're going to go down to page 6. All right. So on page 6, you see these are the things that they are measuring 6 different cognitive areas: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation when it comes to cognitive capability. So knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So what it all boiled down to, if we're going to go down to this page 15, what it all boiled down to here is we're looking right here, the shifts in critical thinking due to generative AI. And that's what we're talking about today, the generative AI that's out there now that people are using on these chat interfaces now. All right, so specifically, it affected recall and comprehension. The focus shifts from information gathering to information verification. So recall and comprehension were 2 of the things that were affected and that were less for this study. Okay, so recall, to remember something. I need to remember things, and I don't need AI causing me to remember less. So recall was affected, to remember. Comprehension, the ability to understand something. The ability to understand something. Think about the implications of this. The action or capability of understanding something. All right. So not remembering it, that's less using generative AI to do your thinking for you. This critical thinking. Can't remember it, can't recall as well, and then can't comprehend what the information is. what the content's about, can't understand it. I think that's a dumbing down of our cognitive capabilities. We're having, cognitive decline because we're giving to the AI the just going to think for me. The word is cognitive offloading. So I'm going to offload my recall. I'm going to offload my comprehension to this AI. I'm going to let them do it. Over time, your neurons get affected. Over time, they get affected. And if you're not using them, the synapses, which is in between your biological neurons, that sends the signal in between your neurons, which is how your thought process works, over time, it becomes weak. Over time, you can't access it as well. You can't think as well. You can't do your critical thinking. And you give it to an AI that you don't even know how this AI, who's programming this AI, who says what the rules are. Is this a self-autonomous thinking that it can come up with whatever it thinks based on whatever language that was programmed into it? I don't trust it. I might use it for little, small research things, but I love using my brain, and I love being becoming smarter, not becoming dumber by using AI that's going to do this for me, because we will be dependent on it if you get to that place where you're dependent on it. Okay, so that's another thing, is your critical thinking with this generative AI is affected. So let's go back to talking about the flattery part of it. This is a really short video I'm going to share with you, and then we're going to conclude today's interlude of the reflective nature of AI. All right.
Important about the way that human beings interact with these models over the past couple of years, and it is that they actually love flattery, and that if you put them in blind tests against other models, it is the one that is telling you that you're great and praising you out of nowhere that the majority of people will say that they prefer over other models. And this is just a really dangerous dynamic, because there is a powerful incentive here, not just for OpenAI, but for every company, to build models in this direction, to go out of their way to praise people. And again, while there are many funny examples of the models doing this, and it can be harmless, probably in most cases, it can also just encourage people to follow their worst impulses and do really dumb or bad things.
Okay. Very good. I have gotten some really cool people here on these videos that just seem to take a complex subject and make it very easy to digest. So on exit, what we know is that AI is built to flatter. People became, aware of this, that it's flattering. In ChatGPT 5 that just came out recently, it was programmed to be less flattering, less sycophancy, the word of the day. But the majority of people wanted to go back to the GPT-4 because it was more flattering. Well, the flattering nature can lead to AI psychosis, confirmation bias, delusional thoughts, loss of reality, loss of self. Critical thinking skills are reduced by generative AI, which is here. Even the creators, the people who gave birth to this, Elon, says AI is humanity's existential risk. 20% chance of annihilation. I think 20% chance is too high for me. And agentic AI is here. So it's here. And this is the world that we live in. So be awake, be aware, be alert, and be not asleep. And if you all might have noticed, if anybody's been following me from the very start, I finally got my lava lamp. When I first started the AI manuscript series, my first video that introduces you to it, I had a pink lava lamp, and I had the lava lamp because a lava lamp is something that can be put into this scene, into our video, that no AI can reproduce. So this is an authentic human video. that's authentically me. And I am speaking what I know from the truth from the research and things that I find online, and by praying for God to help give me guidance and discernment. But this also, the cool thing about the lava lamp is that Cloudflare actually uses walls of lava lamps because for encrypting and making sure that things are safe, because it always produces a random pattern. You cannot reproduce the patterns in a real lava lamp. So that's why that's there, in case anybody noticed. And of course, my cross, and then the AI manuscript is back there. So hopefully I'll have a journal for you soon. I may write a journal about this with the flattering AI and get in a little more depth about it, more of a pondering. When I read the journal, it's more of a like, let's think about this. So here we go. This is the end of the episode today, the Interlude 11, which is the reflective properties of AI. Remember that our ability to make smart judgments about AI is critical, as it is not in the future anymore. It is not a sci-fi movie. It is this moment in time, right now. We share our world with a new species, a new artificial species that has entered humanity. And as I always say, always remember, you are beautiful. There is nothing artificial that can replace the 100% authentic God-made human that you are. Thanks for watching today, and I will see you guys on the next go around on the AI manuscript.